Right, this is clearly a big week for labor market data. You had ADP employment change, JOLTS, and of course, jobless claims this morning, unit labor costs, as well as productivity. We know that the UAW has come to agreements with the automakers, but if you are a union organizer, and I'm thinking of the Actors Guild, for instance, that is still on strike, what is your takeaway from the flood of data that we've gotten on the labor market right now?
Well, the labor market's still tight, right? Even, I mean, and I don't really think you need to look much beyond the unemployment rate at 3.8% to say, the nation's at full employment and markets are tight. And, you've got a point here where there might be some bargaining power for workers. The other interesting thing about a number of these strikes is there are a lot of non-wage issues at stake. You're talking about, the use of AI for the actors. You're talking about, the shift to electric vehicles amongst the UAW. And that's actually been sort of an interesting aspect where, a lot of these labor negotiations, it's not just about the wages, it's really also about sort of these changing industry dynamics that they want to protect their workers from.
So how does that show up in the data? How does that show up in the economy in what's measurable?
Well, we should definitely see the impact of the UAW strike tomorrow in tomorrow's data. The BLS released their strike report. Between the strikes, the big three, and Mack Trucks, that should be about a 30,000 job reduction in motor vehicle and parts assemblies employment. You'll see it in Table B and B1 of the employment situation release. So we should definitely see that weigh on the employment report tomorrow. But that'll rebound in the subsequent report. And I think the bigger picture is that you have put in place for some of these contracts, a return to things like cost of living adjustments, et cetera. So this should generally mean for these workers somewhat firmer wage gains over the next few years than would have otherwise been the case.